I hope there's some people that are neurotic enough to see what I've seen, or that they care enough to see what I've seen, or that they're autistic enough, or that they're insightful enough to take the time and to see that the importance of what I'm trying to show here. This is a Zapruder film. I mean, this is something where this film, and I don't know why nobody's noticed this. I mean, I guarantee you I'm the first person to put this out, and otherwise I would not put it out. I'm just starting my YouTube page for the Nipsey situation. Today we're going to be looking at some of these pictures that they have given us regarding Eric Holder, the supposed shooter in the Nipsey Hussle supposed murder. And I say supposedly because I've looked, and you will say the same, I believe, after looking at these smoking guns. Here we have just the pictures I've analyzed of what they've given us, and there are definitely some discrepancies that should be noted. So we start this off with one of his, all of these pictures again offline, what they've given us. And I haven't done anything to them besides some brightness and contrast adjustments. And here we can see that back when this photo was taken, seems recently enough, that there was no tattoos on this man, Shady Cuz Eric Holder. So that's to be noted that these are relatively recent tattoos. And here we have TMZ's photos from the arrest, showing the left side of the man's neck, and as far as the tattoos go. So we'll be getting into those. We'll also be getting into these tattoos that are on the front of his neck, and particular attention to the word that seems to be city written across the front of his neck, and also to these bars that you can see coming out underneath the words around his collarbone, and as well as the tattoos around the left side of his neck. But getting the eye familiar with the shots that we're going to go over by passing some of these shots again. All of these are available online. The very few photos that are available online from somebody who was trying to promote themselves as a rapper and somebody who's a known felon and everything else. There's very few photos. The internet's essentially been scrubbed of his photos long ago, I would say. They weren't there to begin with. And again, most people weren't looking into this deeply to begin with even, but still it was scrubbed before then. So again, we're looking at this area where he's got the word city, C-I-T-Y, written across his neck. And we'll just jump into it with one of these photos that comes offline that has been purposefully blurred and edited. And all of these shots online are like this, where everybody's got this blurred copy that you can't really tell it's blurred when you look at it until you zoom it in. And you zoom it in, and this is pixelated purposefully. Very heavily and purposefully pixelated boxes of pixelization that wrap around his neck, and that, you know, go into the front of his neck area, as you see here, that are hiding some of the critical areas of the features of this tattoo that we'll be looking at. So purposefully blurred, and this is what everybody has as far as this picture. If you've seen it, zoom it in, it's blurred. So who did that? Why? We can talk about it in another show, but here I'm going to keep this succinct at the differences on these tattoos. So here we have the arraignment, one of the photos of the arraignment, and one of the photos, and that's the one on the left, and the one on the right is one of the photos that they've been giving us probably off of his Instagram page, which is, you know, I assume shut down now. It seems to be unavailable. Anyways, the thing to notice here, or what I've noticed here, are that on the picture on the left, these lines, these rays coming out of his collarbone are very prominently blue, and they are very seemingly much longer than the guy on the right. The guy on the right, those are black, and they're much stubbier. And we can look at the color comparisons lower on his chest. He's got on the left and right lower. The guy on the right, he has blue and green tattoos on his chest, that the blue and the green show up just fine in the color circumstances, the shading that picture is taken in. So it's not a matter of, of shading or color. No matter how you saturate this picture, you can't see blue in that guy on the right, the Shaddy Cuz on the right. You can't see blue, and that's essentially all you see. The more you saturate and brighten up the picture on the left, is that those areas are very blue, and they're predominant and longer. And also on the money bag, that you can clearly see, or you can see it better on the guy on the right, that this line in the fold of the money bag, towards the top of the money bag, there's a line there that is thinner than the guy on the left. That the guy on the left, that area, that line looks like it's about twice as thick and much more prominent. So these tattoos are clearly different between the shot of a recent Instagram, I assume, photo, and the guy that they have in arraignment. I am zooming out from the badge that they have on him, the seemingly hospital bracelet that they have on him. It does say Eric Holder, but I haven't seen a badge like that on a jailed inmate before, except for if they are being seen by a doctor. And here we have the next area that we're going to look at, which is this left wing tattoo with these kind of rays coming out of his neck area, going up and protruding to and around his jawline. And the particular area here will show that these are different tattoos. These are vastly different tattoos, very different. And so different tattoos means and it equals a different man. So I shouldn't have to say that, but we'll just make that known and very clear that if these are different tattoos from the arrest and the arraignment, that this is a different man between the arrest and the arraignment. The guy on the right, his tattoos appear to be made with a Sharpie. They're very thick, predominant black, and seem to sit up above the skin, not to blend into the skin like a normal Indian ink tattoo, like a real tattoo. So no matter how you saturate the picture, it seems to be very clear that those are, and the more saturation you give to the picture, I should say, it seems to be that the guy on the right, that his tattoos are new, or that they are not tattoos at all. There's markers. If they were new, there'd be some swelling or some etching or something, going on that you could see also. These tattoo rays, though, the most blatant thing to see is that they're separate on the guy on the left. And in the arrest photo, that they are separate, and that these lines seem to smudge together. These rays seem to smudge together on the guy on the right. And I've given them numbers from the area near the wing. That would be the first ray, until the third one, say, that is closer to his actual chin area. Then we have these smudges in between lines 2 and 3, ray 2 and 3. Or on the tattoo on the man on the left, those rays are very clearly separated. They also seem to be blue, and that those areas on the guy on the left are blue, and the guy on the right are clearly black. And then we also have the fact that those rays, especially ray number 2, goes up and around the man's jawline. And even with the neck stretch, I don't think that is enough to account for the reason that number 2, the line number 2, the ray number 2 on the guy on the right, that it doesn't go anywhere near up and over the chin line. It doesn't even go, up and over the jawline. It doesn't even go to the jawline. So the guy on the left, he's also got his neck stretched a little bit. So and the guy on the right's not exactly looking up at the sky. So it's, kind of maybe an equal stretch. But regardless, they're blue. They're not smudged together. And they are, clearly separate. They are clearly a different color. And again, there's no smudge lines in between. And then the smoking gun. This I consider one of the smoking guns of this case. There might be 4 or 5, maybe more, but there's at least a couple on this video where this word is I have the circles there, and word and no word. There seems to be a word written on the guy on the left, and there seems to be a thick squiggle mark on the guy on the right. The word appears to maybe be love or something like that. I doubt from the character of this man that it would be love, but it is thinly written with a thin stroke, wherein there's a very broad stroke to the one on the right. Whatever design or whatever word they were writing on the guy on the right, it's clearly different than the guy on the left. Clearly, obviously, very different. Even the tone of the ink, things like that, are just blatantly off. But the thickness of the line is obvious. So here again, just more pictures showing a little bit different lighting circumstance to show that these are very different tattoos. Again, that same thick squiggly, shape, maybe looks like an S or something, but it's not a word like is in the arrest photo. With a thin lined word. This is a thick lined shape, symbol or something. So also want to note that you can see in all these pictures that this man is either military or mentally disabled, handicapped, or very mentally ill. Clearly this man is not, your average gangbanger. And you can see that from the next photo, where this rapper slash gangbanger looks rather feminine and looks rather soft, whereas this guy on the right looks very strong and either focused or unfocused, either military focused or handicapped unfocused. But there's something going on there. And regardless, though, he's the doppelganger, I feel, and I just leave it to your interpretation. I'm not going to tell you how to think. There's too many people doing that already. I'm just showing you what reality is. In all of shots of the arraignment photos, just about all the shots show a very clear birthmark. This is actually one of the worst shots to show that on, but they're not showing us the birthmark on any of the, I call them the real shitty cuz. I believe that's purposeful. They gave us these pictures, and this is the picture that really struck me. I felt there was something different about these men. Obviously, most people say they look different, the ears, everything else. So this is the first smoking gun that I pulled out of these tattoos. I was staring at these tattoos for an hour one night, knowing that there was something wrong, and I just couldn't see it, but I knew that they weren't the same. And I finally saw it, and it's hard to see, but once you see it, it's clear. We're looking at the bottom of the Y, where the Y turns in and seems to kind of make an oval or a circle. And this where the Y, the fancy curve of the Y on the tail, comes and nearly completes a circle on the guy on the right. It nearly completes it, and that's where I have the word open, because there's an open gap between that area of the Y. Where in all these pictures of Eric Holder, shitty cuz, with the bandanas and things, all of those pictures have that area clearly closed, that the tail actually connected to the line, to the Y, to the other curve of the line, making a completed circle. So though that's present in every picture that I've seen of Eric Holder, or supposedly Eric Holder, this Crips Instagram page that they're pulling these pictures from, they all have this closed Y, wherein the guy that's arraigned and the guy that they're also showing us that doesn't seem to look like the guy that has the bandanas and and that thing. That type of stuff.
They're showing us that guy does not have a tattoo that forms a full circle. So the Eric Holder with the Instagram page and the bandanas and things, his tattoo does form a full circle, wherein the guy that is in court, that has been arraigned, and that they were showing us the picture of in the blue and red tracksuit in the wanted photo, his tattoo, the Y does not connect to itself, and it does not form a full circle.
We can see the Y here. We can see that it's closed, that tail, the bottom of the Y is closed on the guy on the right, where the guy on the left, the doppelganger, it is clearly open.
So very, very different tattoos here.
We're talking about very, very high level professionals that are involved in doing all of this. If they were mimicked, they were very purposefully and carefully and professionally mimicked by somebody who is a very skilled artist who would have very little flaw, but it's hard to forge somebody else's work, especially when it comes to body art. So, truth seekers, we have this thing, it's called discernment.